Welcome to Tactical Magic, a business strategies podcast for the warrior goddess entrepreneur.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tactical Magic. This is Molly Mandelberg, your host. I'm sorry I don't have a very good voice today, but I have a good friend of mine, Dr. Jenny Mann, on the line with us today. And Jenny has over a decade of medical experience. She has helped thousands of patients to heal from chronic illness. Because of her years in integrative family practice, she is well-versed in both conventional and integrative medicine. Dr. Mann is passionate about helping people break out of the cycle of illness. She loves seeing people start to understand what's truly causing the illness they suffer from and move into a state of feeling good each day. Jenny understands the struggles of digestive issues and autoimmune disease because she has struggled with these same things. Dr. Mann understands the pain and frustration of wanting to participate in the world but being unable to because you're held back by digestive issues, fatigue, and illness. She loves supporting her patients to heal and loves seeing them transform and get their lives back, especially from what I understand when they've been given diagnoses that don't make sense and that they feel like doctors aren't really giving them resources that help them treat their symptoms and feel better. Jenny Mann is sort of a master at helping people to recover from things that they thought they were going to suffer from their entire lives. So I'm really excited to have Jenny on the show. She's also a good friend of mine and a badass entrepreneur. So I'm just excited to share a little bit of her magic with all of you Tactical Magic listeners. Thanks for being here, Jenny.
Hi, Molly.
Hi.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, so will you tell us a little bit about your story of becoming the doctor and professional woman you are now?
Sure. Yeah. I've been in practice for about over 10 years now, but like the passion for what I do really came from my personal experience. In my 20s, I had been studying abroad in college in the Amazon, and I came back feeling very sick. I had picked up some bugs there, and I came back and my gut was just a mess, and was seeing, my gastroenterologist, and they really were like, well, you tried that medication, failed it. And that's pretty much just how you have to live now. And I just saw a lot of my health decline. My mood was really fluctuating. I was feeling exhausted. I had all this brain fog I didn't used to have. I had eczema all over my arms and legs, cystic acne, this horrible PMS. I just was not feeling myself. And no one really had, a reason for it. And I was seeing conventional doctors and getting antidepressants and therapy, and kind of told that was it. And I mean, therapy, I love therapy, but there was also this whole physiologic thing that was going on with me. And I ended up just going to naturopathic medical school kind of by a calling. I just felt like I learned about the medicine. I kind of fell in love with it. But really, little did I know it was also to really save my own health. I think that was part of the reason I was called into it. And my first year there, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune thyroid condition called Hashimoto's. And I was like, okay, well, finally, at least there's like, there's a name or like a reason for why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. But why am I experiencing, like, what is this from? Like, okay, there's this autoimmune process going on, but like, what is causing that? And really spent my education trying to understand the causes of autoimmunity and chronic illness. And as I went through these pieces, really figuring out like the right diet, the right lifestyle for me, having this awesome community of support around me with other people, clinicians exploring their health too, I started to feel a lot better. And then, the brain fog started to clear and energy started coming back, my gut settled down, hormones evened out. I mean, it's just very, very life-changing, when you go from living that every day to just getting through the day to like feeling good and doing all the stuff you love to do. It's just, you feel like you have yourself back.
Yeah.
So that's where my passion, I think, for that chronic piece came from.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like because you had that firsthand experience of doctors telling you this is just the way it is now, and you not being satisfied with that answer, but being, who you are, which is willing to go the extra mile and figure out how can I find a solution to this. how can there be another path and not just succumbing to whatever that diagnosis was and giving into it, or surrendering, I guess you could say, to things just not feeling good for the rest of your life. I think there's a lot of people out there who get a diagnosis like that and don't have the strength or the follow through to go and solve it on their own because a professional has told them that it's just going to be this way. And what I love about you and your practice, Jenny, is that you take those people who have been given a diagnosis that they're upset with, but they don't know what to do about it, and you give them a deeper look and more resources and more support that actually can help them treat those symptoms and get through those, brain fog feelings or the poor digestion or whatever it is that they're struggling with, so that they can actually live lives where they feel confident and comfortable and can go have fun and socialize or go on a trip with their family and not feel like it's impossible to do those things. What would you say is like the main thing that you do that other doctors don't do to take that extra step further?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the big thing with conventional medicine is like they're really looking to diagnose a disease generally, and then once you have a disease, and there tends to be a medication for that disease. And in a lot of people I see, it's not that they have a disease, it's not that they need a medication for that disease. It's that a few different areas of the body are off enough that they add up to make that person feel really terrible. So a food they're eating is off, or their iron is just a little too low, or their thyroid is just a little bit hypothyroid. And then when you add those things together, they feel really bad. But there isn't a name for that, which I think is, kind of where conventional medicine tends to fall short. Mm-hmm. Is that there's no name for that. There's no medication to treat that. It's that the person really needs to be looked at holistically and then optimize all these areas. And then the body just starts to get back online and up level.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you're willing to take that extra step and not look for what's the medication miracle cure for this, but what does this person individually actually require in order to feel good again? I love that. What's the journey been like for you growing your practice as a doctor? I know a lot of people listening to this might not be in the medical profession. They might be healers of other kinds and stuff, but still it's a journey to find clients and follow through. I'm curious what that's been like for you.
Yeah, so when I finished school, I did a residency for a year, and then I ended up working for a large corporate primary care group for about 6 years. And that was great because it just got me going out of school. I could really focus on the clinical piece, and I, worked with thousands and thousands of patients in that time and just built up that experience. And then a few years ago, I ended up going into private practice because I really started to want to practice the way I want to practice and have as much time as I want with people and, work with the people I want to work with. Mm-hmm. And so that's been a whole thing, learning how to run a business, being out on my own. But I love it. I love learning about business. I love being able to create. I love being able to create things like what we've been working on that are kind of outside the box of even alternative medicine.
Tell them what we made together. Tell them what we created.
Oh yeah, so Molly and I have been working on, I'm starting to run group programs for people because I found that there are elements of what I was doing, especially with diet and lifestyle, that people were sometimes feeling very isolated and doing on their own. Feeling kind of lonely or, not having a social group to do things with. And so I've been working on putting together a group program. Molly's been doing all the back end on that and all the technical infrastructure and helping with my content to create this platform where people can go through these changes that they're going through together.
Yeah. And you sold it. It worked.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I started offering a program this fall, and yeah, it's working.
Yeah. You got a group in there, and they're being a group. Yeah. I think just for anybody listening out there, there's a tendency when we go into business to think that getting clients and working with them one-on-one is as deep as the work can be. And that may be true in certain instances, that may be true in certain forms of healing and certain modalities, that it's much more powerful and potent to go one-on-one with people. And what I'm have been learning, and what I've been seeing a lot of, and what probably anybody who's looking at programs online has been seeing, is there's also an opportunity to create community and to create that sense of deeper connection and more support that doesn't necessarily have to be all support coming from you. So like Jenny and I actually met in a group program that's really powerful and really connected. And I think everyone in that program gets more out of it because of the relationships we build with each other. So there's almost like not, number one, more leverage, more impact that you can make by being able to reach more than one person at a time and leveraging your time in that way. There's also the potential for more growth for that person to get by being supported by a whole group of people, in addition to being led or guided or facilitated by you as a leader. So first off, I'm just really excited for you, someone like Jenny, who's been working with thousands of clients for over 10 years, more than 10 years probably, to finally have something that you can reach more people at one time. So it's like you're not just trading time for money all the time anymore. So if you want to take a vacation, or if you want to take more time for your health and well-being, there's more leverage there for you to have that space to do it. So exciting. I love that.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing when you are an entrepreneur and have health challenges too, like I have had, then that being able to leverage your time is so critical.
Yeah.
So it's fun to like just really be efficient with my time, make the most impact I can with the energy I have available to me, and then also have that time to and resources to take care of myself and take time off when I need to. And yeah.
What would be,
win-win,
yeah, for sure. What would be some of the ways that you would recommend entrepreneurs and people like us take care of themselves if they're starting to experience more fatigue, or they're starting to, just feel less than great? What would be some things that you would ask people to try out or encourage them to do?
Well, I think the first thing is just to listen to that. I think there's this in our culture, there's so much around pushing, just pushing through to meet your goals, and this whole like kind of training mentality and athlete mentality, which has its place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's one, just like listen to that, and notice when the energy that you need to have to do your work isn't adding up to what you have in your stores. And we kind of talk about this like a bank account, right? Like you have these energy stores, and you just make sure you're making as many deposits as you are withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
Those deposits are like different for everyone. So for me, it's a lot of art, a lot of nature, creative time that really like restores me.
Mm-hmm.
But for everyone it's different. So that's like the first place to just check in with, like, are you surrounding yourself with people that uplift you? Like, are you doing the activities that you need to be doing that really fill you up? And then if those things aren't making a difference, like see someone, like have your labs done, just get some basic blood work. I think especially women, I think this like idea of fatigue is kind of in pain. Like we're almost assumed to have that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's dismissed a lot. And sometimes I see women who have been like undiagnosed with thyroid conditions, or low iron stores, low vitamin D for years, and they're just pushing through. So
Right.
there are times to push, but it's also really important to listen.
Totally. And I think even though there's a lot of our culture out there preaching about self-care and taking care of ourselves, there's also a lot of like need to prove ourselves and push through, and just assume that, once you've hit 30 or once you've hit 40, you're just gonna be tired, and that's just who you're supposed to be now. And maybe that's not true. Maybe you're not supposed to just be in pain and be exhausted all the time. Maybe there's something, like you said, in your diet that your body's wanting, or maybe there's just something a little bit off that could be treated better. And what would it take to take care of ourselves in such a way that we can show up feeling energized and excited and alive all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How cool would that be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, that is a lot of it's like aligning, aligning your, yourself with like the people that you're around, aligning your business to like what you have available, and also like making sure your health is aligned. And then when you have those in it all, then you can do a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's also, because healthcare is pretty expensive in this world right now, in our world in America. If you're listening somewhere else, that might not be true for you. Congratulations. But that we wait till there's a problem to even go get our labs done, or we wait till there's like a real issue before we look at what we're eating and what our diet is like. I know I just recently, a month ago, gave up dairy and gluten and sugar for the most part, again, because I was having a skin condition. It took something occurring for me to say, okay, I'm just going to try this now, finally. But what would it take to actually be preemptive with that healthcare? Like, I'm starting to realize I'm tired most of the time. I require more coffee to get through my day. Like, what if I just took that as enough of a sign to go look at this and take care of myself in a better way, so that it doesn't progress to, a thyroid issue, or it doesn't progress to whatever the worst case scenario might be that would then inspire me to go to the doctor. It would be nice if
So
we
like the
had more.
subtle cues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like, we grow up in this country is mostly a disease-based model. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what we're taught. You don't really get health care or take care of yourself unless there's really a problem. Even our screenings are for screenings for disease, which has its place, but it's rare that you're working with a clinician, even as, in PD. I wish they taught us this stuff, when we were little kids by your pediatrician, like, finding the right foods for you, the right exercise, the right mindset, how to meditate, how to cook, these things that just promote health in our day to day.
Yeah.
It's really, as opposed to just waiting until there's a disease state. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally. Well, I want people to be able to get a hold of you. What's the best way for folks to contact you?
Oh, you can just go to my website. It's www.drjennymann.com, DRGENNYMANN.com. And you can sign up for a time for us to talk.
Awesome. And if you want support in a group program, that's an option now too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you also work with people one-on-one to help them figure this stuff out. Is there anything else you want the world to know, sweet Jenny Mann?
Just like listen to your body. I think this is the thing, like it's there, your body is there to, like, if it's talking to you, it's just trying to get your attention. It's not trying to punish you, or it's not there to be worked against, it's there to be worked with. So if your body's giving you messages that it's not feeling right, like, listen, get some support if you need to.
Yeah. And ideally listen when it's whispering, not when it's yelling at you before it starts yelling. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like your mom gets more upset with time. Just listen to what it says. Yeah, I think that's a really important message just in general, is there's a communication system between you and your body. And if it had words, it would tell you, but it doesn't. It only has sensations. So pay attention to the sensations. It's trying to communicate. That's the best it can do. And if we ignore that, then it gets out of hand. Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. Absolutely check Jenny out. I know she's amazing at what she does, and she's also really kind, really generous, and really sweet. And I have just loved being in community with you, and getting to work with you has been an absolute pleasure as well. So thanks for being on the show today, Jenny.
Yeah, thanks, Molly. It's awesome to be here with you.
Awesome. All right. Talk to y'all soon. See you next Tuesday. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Tactical Magic. To find out more, please visit our website, wildheartsriseup.com.